Hello and welcome to today's App Academy. It is November the 5th, 2025. And this App Academy is sponsored and brought to you by Avalara, Yooz, and Avid Exchange. My name is Gary Dehart. I am the host of this App Academy and the publisher of Insightful Accountant. We have three speakers today. Basically, it's Mike Trebo, who's here on the line with us right now. Trebo on the line with us right now from Avalara. He's going to be talking about streamlining tax compliance with Avalara for QuickBooks. Following him will be Chandler Watts from Avid Exchange. He'll be talking smarter payables for QuickBooks, basically how do you streamline your accounts payable. And then following that is Gary Bailey from Yooz, and he'll be talking about modernizing AP workflows and how Yooz extends the power of QuickBooks. And then Gary is here. Gary, good to see you again. Safe travels back from Las Vegas, I take it.
Oh yeah. We're
Awesome.
home.
Great, exactly. And then so Gary's with Yooz, and he's going to be talking about modern AP workflows, how Yooz extends the power of QuickBooks. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Okay. Well, great to meet everyone. Not really, but I know we're not actually meeting, but great to meet everybody. I'll go ahead and just share my screen here with y'all. Give me 1 second. All right. All right, so I assume everyone can see my screen. If not, just let me know. But just a little bit about me really quickly before we dive in. I'm Gary Bailey. I'm the account executive here at Yooz. Been with Yooz for going on 2.5 years, almost 3 years. So it's been fun. It's been great. And I'm excited to show you guys about Yooz and how we're able to help QuickBooks clients with QuickBooks. All right. So just a little bit about Yooz Lean Financial Operations. Here at Yooz, we were born in the cloud, say at about 2010. We have over 7,000 clients across the world. So in EMEA, in the US, Canada, and then we have over 600,000 users. Okay, we're in 40 different countries, 300 million documents processed. And one thing I always like to point out is just our passion about innovation, even so much that we have over 100 AI and machine learning scientific papers that have been published as well. So I always like to point that out. Another thing I will say is just a little bit about our QBO client stats. You can see the number of documents that have been processed, the number of payments, and we also connect with QBD. We have a really good connection with them as well, and over 250 plus ERPs. All right. So a little bit about lean financial operations. You use in lean financial operations. What that mean? What does that mean? What does that entail? Right. It's not just AP automation. A lot of companies, a lot of people come and they're like, "Hey, I need AP automation." And we're like, "Great, that's awesome. That's our core, right?" But there's other things we can help too. You know, when we're looking at lean financial operations, we mean AP automation, P2P automation, and through that we're able to help you with your fraud prevention, your payment automation, vendor statement reconciliation, budget management, and then we're able to just because of the nature of our system, able to route and workflow any other documents that you guys might have as well. So what's holding back your financial operations? Operational friction. Okay, so typically an AP manager will say, "Hey, how can I eliminate manual invoice entry and approvals, financial inefficiency, and strategic exposure? How do I reduce risk, increase visibility, and more strategically forecast and grow?" So these are some of the things that we hear from some of our clients. These are key to me, so I went ahead and just put them here. The next thing I'll talk about, just kind of where Yooz typically can help with QuickBooks clients. It'll be one on the visibility, so you'll be able to gain access to visibility from all of your entities. So I have some clients that they have about 20 different holding accounts, right? They have maybe one or two Z's invoices that go through those different accounts. Well, you're able to have access through one login to all of those different entities. You may have actual separate locations or separate businesses that goes up in one that you need to to work from one login as well. You're able to still have access to all of that and filter it and have it look however you would like it to look. And I'll show you that in the demo. Errors. Manual data entry leads to high error rate. We all know this, right? So this is something because of our AI. It's actually looking at every single thing that's on the document, and not only is it picking up that information, but it understands what it's looking at. It's able to pick up on those errors pretty consistently and point them out to you guys. And then fraud detection. Fraudsters, that's what we call them. They're getting really good, and they'll have invoices that come through and it looks very similar to the invoices that you guys typically get, but there may be some things in the background that we may notice that it's been altered, or maybe there's something on the document that is slightly off and it looks kind of weird, right? There's so many different parameters that our Yooz Protect has in the background of the system that is going to pick up on that fraud for you guys and then point it out to you. And so one thing I think is pretty cool is it's not going to just say that, hey, there's fraud. It'll also tell you what it thinks the fraud is too, which is super important. Next thing I'll show you is just kind of what it looks like for a workflow when you're using Yooz, okay? So you can see here on the purchasing side, typically when it comes to orders, it typically starts with a purchase request or a purchase order. Once that's created, then it will be sitting in the background of Yooz. When an invoice comes in, we can capture 5 different ways, right? Bring those invoices into our system. It will then go through a review stage if there's some discrepancies, or maybe not, right? Maybe it's good to go and there's no issue, so it goes directly to those approvers. And then we can also help you guys pay. And all of that information, all of that would be exported automatically into your ERP, whichever one it is. Okay. I do want to point up here, we do have a no-touch straight-through processing. You're able to, for those bills that that, hey, same vendor every single month, same amount needs to get paid. Don't really need a lot of visibility on it. Don't need touch points on it. You can have those straight through process through our system as well. We do have a way to invite vendors to join the community as well to look in as far as a portal. And then yeah, you can see some other things down here that we'll talk about, that we could talk about if you guys we sat down and went through a demo. Okay. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to escape from this, show you guys my demo environment really quickly. And here in the demo environment, you can see that we are cloud-based. So it's just a web browser. So you can log in from wherever you need to log in from. You have the ability to log in from your phone, your mobile app, if you have that downloaded on your phone, tablet, laptop, doesn't really matter. You still have the ability to do so wherever you are. There's a couple of workspaces that we're going to focus on as I'm talking through this. The first workspace will be capture. And in this workspace, there's 5 different ways that we can capture your invoices. I'll blaze through these really quickly. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in there. But capture, the best way typically is through email. You guys have a AP at your company. It will get sent to that invoice, will get sent to that email. We'll have an auto forwarding rule. It'll come directly into our system. Our AI will look at it face value and then know exactly what needs to happen to it from looking at it. The same things that you guys know and the reasons why you know what needs to happen to it is what we're telling our AI, our system to do, and it'll route it accordingly. Okay. Second way, you can upload documents into our system. You can select the file, drag and drop a document. Third way would be scanning. You can most scanners, if you get snail mail, most scanners have an email option on them. So you can likely just scan it, click the email, send it directly into our system from there. Fourth way would be through the mobile app. You can simply just take a picture from your phone, whether it's receipts or, I don't know, supporting documentation. You can just take a picture from your phone, get it sent directly into our system from there. And the fifth way would be this thing we have called fetch my invoice. So this is pretty cool. I don't know about you guys, but before I came to use, I was in procurement, and there were certain portals I had to log into for certain things to even place orders outside of our procurement system. And I know we had to go and get invoices from those same portals too. So what this does is it gives you the ability to, instead of you going to these specific portals and asking and pulling those invoices into our system, this gives you the ability to create an automatic um, pull from that portal to have it come directly into use. And then from there, we'll go through the workflows that you guys design. Okay. So this is a good to have, right? It's good if you need it. And if you don't need it, you're like, okay, cool. Right. Workspace that we'll focus on is my task. The next one we'll focus on is my task. Here, everyone will spend about 95% of their time. Why? Because you have a to-do list. And in that to-do list, you have a task. Okay. It's very simple. Um, when you come into use, you're going to see, okay, what do I have to do? And you can have this filtered and filtered any way or grouped any way you would like. I decided to do it by organizational unit and then by document type, right? So this is where you can have those visibility into those different organizations or entities or companies, whatever you call them. You can have the ability to filter this however you would like. I like to do it like this. So I would go to my payables invoice, my non-PO based one, and I can see I have a couple of different invoices here that need to be reviewed. I also noticed that one of them has an alert and there's fraud that has been detected on it as well. Okay. So let's just click on that really quickly. So when you click into the invoice, you'll notice that we have a properties and then we have the invoice lines down here. The properties, what's happening here is we're saying, hey, Yooz, go ahead and look at this invoice face value like we do. When we get it in our hands, we're looking at it and we're going through, hey, look at this face value, find certain information over here, and then fill in this data that I need you to fill in for me from this document. So it went ahead and it did all that for us. When it did that, it noticed a couple of things, right? That's why we have these different alerts here, and that's why it's in the review phase. It noticed that there's a duplicate document that has been that has been found within the system with the same values. So if I wanted to, I could click here. It'll bring me to that document to actually view. It also noticed that there's an amount higher than usual for the supplier. So this is a good to have, right? It's just letting you know that we noticed something. Just take a look, but you could choose to ignore this if you wanted to. And then this last one is our fraud detection. So that's what this symbol is here. When you see this, you can automatically just click here in this tab where it says fraud detection. And it will point to you on the document where it sees the fraud. And what this is stating is not just stating, hey, Gary, there's banking information on this invoice, fraud. It's not doing that. What it's saying is that, hey, there's banking information on this document, but it doesn't match the third-party data for this vendor. And we notice that it's been altered. Fraud. Take a look at it. Right. So it's more in depth than we think it is. And hey, look, I didn't build this. I don't know all the specifics, right? But it's pretty crazy. It picks up a lot of stuff and we do a lot of testing to make sure it does what we say it needs to do. Okay. So that's why some documents might end up in the review phase. There's a couple of other reasons here, is maybe because you just wanted to land in somebody's box. That's your prerogative. You do whatever you want. But the theme I want you guys to understand is that with Yooz, you have the ability to customize the system and the workflows however you would want it to be customized. We come with best practices, but I always say this, that has just because the company wants automation doesn't mean that the actual company is ready to automate every single bit of everything, right? So we need to fit in where you guys are, and then we can grow to full automation where you need to be. Okay. So we understand that this is the to-do box. We understand that this is the review stage. What's this down here? This says in progress. This gives you the visibility on documents that may have skipped your to-do list, but you're like, hey, I still want to see what's going on here, right? So let's say your AP clerk is Andy. You're like, Andy, though these didn't land in your queue, you still need to make sure they all get approved by these specific people here. So Andy is still able to see, hey, these skipped my step. They went to the approve stage and it's sitting in Amelia's box. It's sitting in Paige's box, right? Still have that visibility you need. Um, so I hope that makes sense there. Next thing I'll talk about is vendor statements. This is something that it's just a time saver. There's a couple more things we'll talk about, guys, and then I'm done with this. But I just want to point out some key things to you. Give me 1 second. All right. So next thing I'll talk about is vendor statement reconciliation. So typically you'll get a vendor statement and it looks like this. You have to do it. It's a great way to check to make sure everything's correct, but it's kind of annoying, right? So instead of you having to go back and forth and you're looking at the date, finding the invoice, looking at the amounts, each line by line by line, what you're able to do is just upload this vendor statement into our system. And what we're going to find is the total amount that is on that statement here. And what we're also going to do at the same time in one swoop is find the total amount of the documents that are in our system that match up with this statement. Okay. So as you can see here, there's already a discrepancy between the two totals. They all matched up, but there's a discrepancy going on. To find out where it's happening, you can simply just click here where it says matching, and it would bring you immediately to the invoice that has a discrepancy with the total. So it makes things super, super simple. And then you're even able to click here and it'll bring you right to that invoice. In our system. And you can email the vendor from here, do what you need to do, and move on from there. Another thing I want to point out too is that you see how these are highlighted, these are blue, these are linked, right? If it's not highlighted, if it's not linked, it will automatically let you know that, hey, we matched this number up here. This will be blank as well, but we matched this number up and we matched it to that report, but it's not in our system, right? So if it's not linked, you know that it hasn't come through our system, or that you guys probably never got it, right? So you can go and check and make sure that you actually received it from the vendor when you're supposed to receive it, and kind of go through that path as well. But that's vendor statements. If you have more questions on this, definitely leave them in the chat, or just contact me after this and I'll definitely talk with you guys about it. Last thing I will show you is just our workflows. I'll show you a little bit about that. So just so you understand what's possible for you, with workflows, we have a couple of different phases when it comes to the workflow. So we have our review phase, our approve phase, and then we have our payment phase. Okay. We already talked about the review phase and why documents stop there. So I know you guys probably understand that already, but just to show you this, let's say it skips past the review phase. Let's say it goes to the approval phase. This can be as robust as you will want it to be, and it can be as simple as you need it to be. Because we're picking up every single word and number and letter that comes on a document, you're able to route anything based on any data that comes from those invoices, and have reporting on any of that data as well. So just to show you an example as far as the workflow, let's say if there's an invoice that has the word oxygen anywhere at all on it, you can create, now it's kind of random, right? But you can create a workflow for the word oxygen to have it sent to Aaron every single time, right? But the same thing with reporting. You can search up any little detail of anything that you want to find within Yooz, because we're capturing everything. So this workflow, I always like to say, wave your magic wand. You tell us what you need need to be done, and we actually go in and we build it for you, and then we test everything for you, and then we show you how we did it, right? That's what can happen here. Now on the back end, we do have a fraud suspicion review. This is just, again, a good to have. If nothing hits this, then it would skip. This is where we export back into QuickBooks. Because it's QuickBooks Online, the images of the invoices, everything will show up there. It will look exactly the same as QBO looks today. Nothing changes there. Once that's passed, we'll get to the point where we have payments. And payments, just to simply state, it will get to the person that's paying. They can pay whether it's batch pay, single pay, or short pay. And we can pay on your behalf, whether it's an ACH payment, a physical check payment, and then we also have a virtual credit card option as well. We can do payments in US, so from US to US banks. And then we also can do payments in Canada from Canadian bank to Canadian bank. Once all that's done, all that data gets put back into your accounting software. It will show up as paid, and it looks exactly the same as it does today in your ERP. So that is pretty much it. That's all I wanted to show you guys for now. But yeah, I just want to leave this on the screen for you. If you wanted to contact me, this is how you'll be able to reach me.
All right, there are a couple of questions in here, Gary. One of them is, can you first get an approval of a purchase request, then once approved, have the purchase order created into QBO?
Absolutely. That's the whole purpose, right? Is to have it go through the processes that you have in place. And so once it does whatever you want it to do as far as approvals, then the PO can be created, and then we can have it sitting in the background and waiting for that two-way, and even have that three-way match as well. Great question.
Okay, then a follow-up. I noticed that, and I guess this was in the demo, I noticed that invoice dates are 6 years old. Is there a warning letting you know this invoice is in a past closed year?
Yes, it can let you know. We can have we do have due dates there as well. So if something's past certain due dates, it will definitely alert you that. And there's parameters that we can put in place. This is my demo environment, so unfortunately we haven't changed the dates, but that's a great call out. No one's ever called that out.
Well, there we go. All right, James gets the paying attention
Yeah.
award of the day. So, all right.
Are you an accounting or tax professional who wants to stay ahead without spending a dime? Join thousands who trust insightful accountant and tax practice news to keep them informed and empowered. Get expert updates on QuickBooks, Xero, tax planning strategies, and workflow tips delivered straight to your inbox. Whether you're a solo bookkeeper, firm leader, or tax advisor, these newsletters are your shortcut to what's next in the profession. They're free, practical, and built for people like you. Visit insightfulaccountant.com and hit subscribe to start your smarter workflow today for free.